The shelf above the door is full. The cabinet under the sink is a puzzle you've stopped trying to solve. And the corner where your bags live has quietly taken over half the entryway. It's not a mess, exactly. It's just too much for the space. Too many things competing for the same square feet and nowhere left to breathe. You've reorganized that shelf twice. You bought the bins, the matching containers that looked so clean online. You watched the videos, followed the method, spent a Saturday rearranging, and for a few days, it worked. Then something came in and had nowhere to go. Then another thing. Then the corner was back, and the shelf was full again. Living in a small space doesn't just mean having less room. It means that everything accumulates faster, everything is more visible, and every surface you're not actively managing becomes a reminder that you're losing the battle. The home that was supposed to feel like a retreat quietly starts to feel like a problem. There's a different way to live in a small space, not a method that requires more storage or more containers or a perfect weekend to implement. A way of thinking about the objects you live with that changes what it feels like to walk through your door. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Japanese homes feel spacious even when they're small, and how one quiet principle behind that is something you can begin today. Stay until the end. The last idea tends to be the one that makes everything else click. There is a concept in Japanese culture called ma. It translates roughly as negative space, the pause between notes, the gap between objects, the room to breathe that exists not despite the emptiness, but because of it. In Japanese homes, ma is not an accident. It is the goal. A small space designed around ma doesn't feel small, it feels complete. The first principle is this: an object earns its place by doing more than one job. In most homes, especially small ones, objects accumulate not because they're useful, but because they were purchased for a possibility. The folding tray that came out 3 times, the backup blender that sits behind the working blender, the extra set of plates for when there are guests, which there haven't been in 2 years. Japanese small space design is built around the opposite logic. Every object that stays must justify its presence twice. A wooden stool that is also a side table. A basket that holds blankets but also defines a corner. A cushion that also stores. Not minimalism as deprivation, but minimalism as intention. The question isn't, do I have room for this? It's, does this deserve the room it's taking? Think about your kitchen counter for a moment. Not as a surface to clear, but as a question. How many of the objects on it do more than one thing? Most of them do exactly one. And in a small kitchen, one-purpose objects are the ones quietly stealing your space. The second principle is invisible storage. In Japanese homes, storage hides. It becomes part of the wall, the floor, the furniture itself. In most small spaces, storage is visible and growing. Extra shelves added to hold the overflow, bins stacked on top of bins. Visible storage creates the feeling of accumulation even when things are technically organized. When a shelf of labeled boxes is the first thing you see, the message your mind receives is, there is a lot here. Invisible storage says something else. It says, there is less here than you think. It creates the illusion of space, which is indistinguishable from actual space as far as your nervous system is concerned. This doesn't mean you need a renovation. It means reconsidering what's visible. A bed with understorage, a bench with a lid, a tray that turns a countertop cluster into a composed corner. The goal is not to hide things in shame. It's to let the eye rest. If you've been looking for a way to bring this kind of intention into your actual daily routine, there's something in the first pinned comment worth seeing. It's called the Peaceful Home Kit, and it was designed for exactly this. Helping you build a home rhythm around your real life, not an ideal one. The core of it is a daily planning assistant that adapts to whatever day you're actually having. The third principle is called danshari. It's a Japanese philosophy of letting go, and it's built on 3 movements: refuse what you don't need, release what you no longer use, and separate yourself from attachment to objects as a source of identity. Most decluttering advice skips the hardest part, the emotional reason things stay. The gift from someone you no longer speak to. The clothes that represent a version of yourself you're hoping to return to. The instruction manuals for appliances you no longer own. Danchery doesn't ask you to throw things away. It asks you to be honest about what the object is actually doing for you today, not in memory and not in possibility. That honesty is quieter than any labeling system. The fourth principle is about maintenance, not cleaning. There is a reason Japanese homes don't require marathon cleaning sessions. It's not discipline, it's design. When objects have a fixed place, returning them takes 10 seconds. When storage is close to where things are used, putting things away happens as part of the action, not after it. The kitchen cloth goes back because its hook is right there. The tray goes back because there's only one place it fits. Maintenance built into the environment doesn't require willpower. It happens almost without thinking. And in a small space, where clutter becomes visible immediately, this makes the difference between a home that feels calm on a Tuesday and one that only feels calm the day after you've spent 3 hours cleaning it. The fifth principle is kanso, simplicity as an active choice. Not having less because you can't afford more, but choosing less because more is in the way. In a small home, every object you don't have is space you don't have to manage, surface you don't have to clean, decision you don't have to make. Kanso reframes the small home not as a limitation, but as a kind of freedom. The constraint becomes the gift. You simply have less room to accumulate what doesn't matter. What this video was really about isn't organization. It was about the relationship between your outer space and your inner state. When a small home is designed around ma, danshari, and kanso, what changes isn't the square footage. What changes is what it feels like to be there. The home stops being a list of things to manage and starts being a place that holds you. That shift from overwhelmed to held doesn't require more space. It requires a different conversation with the space you already have. If what you heard today resonated, there's something in the first pinned comment that was built to carry this further. The Peaceful Home Kit is a practical system designed to remove decision fatigue from home organization. At its center is an intelligent daily planner that asks about your real day, including your energy, your time, and how the home is actually feeling, and then builds you a realistic plan around that. There's also a guided Danshari planner that helps you let go of objects without guilt, a Kakebo financial tracker that makes consumption more intentional so fewer things enter your home to begin with, a maintenance tracker that replaces overwhelming cleaning days with small, consistent habits, and a 21-day challenge that builds sustainable organization one quiet day at a time. You won't feel buried under a to-do list when you open it. You won't feel behind. You'll feel like someone finally designed something around how you actually live. It's in the first pinned comment. Go take a look. A small home, cared for, with intention, doesn't feel small. It feels like exactly enough.